We have some news right now. Donald Trump is commenting about his health for the first time since there was speculation that he may have passed away and other health-related issues about him. He said that he has never felt better in his life in a new Truth Social post. It was a short post. He just said, "I have never felt better than I do now," essentially. Now, that doesn't take away the fact that Donald Trump has not spoken to the press in several days now. He has golfed 2 days in a row, according to the White House press pool, which has taken photographs from yesterday and today. But these photographs from far away, you don't see his hands, whether or not he still has bruising. You don't see his ankles, whether or not.
For the first time since all this speculation about Donald Trump's health began, he finally addressed it. And what does he say? Let's take a look. Here we go. Never felt better in my life. Also, DC is a crime-free zone. President DJT. Maybe as an American citizen, that doesn't give me the warm fuzzies that maybe Donnie Boy was hoping that it would, because this isn't how Donald Trump speaks. Now, he would deflect to DC. Don't get me wrong, because he doesn't want to focus on himself. But he would be, if he were healthy, debunking this. He would be holding press conferences. He would be calling reporters nasty journalists for asking such a question. He would be blaming this on the radical left lunatics that are making things up about him. Instead, he is avoiding the press corps. He is avoiding actually posting anything of substance. And there's a few other posts that make me think maybe some of this isn't being posted by him, like this. So he reposted this congratulation post by Carrie Lake about Sergio Gore for being nominated to the U.S. ambassador to India. The problem is, Donald Trump always posts these messages himself. I'd like to congratulate Sergio Gore for being nominated to be the ambassador to India. He never reposts somebody else's congratulation post. So I'll stick by it. Something's going on with Donald Trump's health. The White House is hiding it. He's hiding it. And we as the American people, we need to know. And we need to demand that we know.
Donald Trump just addressed all of the rumors circulating surrounding his health, and I don't think that this is going to make anybody feel better. On social media just a moment ago, he said, "Never felt better in my life," and then added, "DC is a crime-free zone, President DJT." I think this just makes me more nervous about his health. This is not reassuring whatsoever. Yeah, I'm sure the huge swollen ankles, the bruised hands, the weird walking, the mental decline are all indicative of someone who has never felt better in their life. And again, I don't think Donald Trump's health has collapsed in the past 5 days and he can't do anything or walk, or I'm not saying that. But I do think it's weird that the first time Trump addresses this is in a random post on Truth Social, and he still hasn't spoken to reporters. He still really hasn't been seen on camera except for a few photos of him walking outside the White House. And in those photos, he looks unwell. I know that if Joe Biden disappeared for a week and then randomly put out a post on social media saying that he's fine, Republicans would be freaking out. But since it's Trump, they don't care.
We got some breaking news. As you all know, there has been speculation circling around Donald Trump's health, and we have now more confirmation than ever that there is something seriously wrong with the president. As you can see here, this photo just got released where Donald Trump looks terrible. Now, what's interesting about this, the fact that Donald Trump is making these public appearances where he looks like his body is literally decaying, is that Donald Trump has a symptom, a disease of can't shut the fuck up. But this man right here has not talked to the press in more than a week. And Donald Trump not talking to the press is the clear sign to me that there is something up. Now, he's actually addressed the rumors too, and he's posting photos pretending like they're today. And we have found the original photos that show that his proof of life evidence that he's trying to provide is not from today. So there's something going on here. There's something going on here.
At a time when mainstream media is sounding the alarms about a potential Trump health crisis, and the hashtag Trump death is even trending on X, the president himself mused about his passing in a very bizarre message to the MAGA base and a heavy breakdown of Donald's wacky and sensational Sunday for you next. This report will begin and end with his questionable cognitive state. As he ages, Trump's impulse control continues to diminish, and his affinity for bright, shiny objects increases. And in that vein, he's been hitting that share button on Truth Social whenever the dopamine center of his brain has been activated via AI-generated imagery. I discovered what you're about to see via a post by Mike Sington that read, "Megalomaniac narcissist obsessed with himself. Trump reposts bizarre AI-generated video of him through the years." Here's that video that has captivated his childlike mind. It was originally backed by the song Forever Young, but I've dubbed it in his own words to make the AI 100% DJT.
The thing they most want, you know what? One of the top 10 things, anything Trump. You believe it? They love me. They love me.
And I was a good student. I understand things. I comprehend very well. Better than, I think, almost anybody.
I'm very highly educated. I know words. I have the best words.
Number one, I'm not stupid, okay? I can tell you that right now. Just the opposite. People would say I'm the super genius of all time. The super genius of all time. I'm really smart.
I'm smart. I'm like a smart person.
I'm like a really smart person. You know, I'm like a smart person. I'm a big thinker.
I'm a man of great common sense.
I'm one of the smartest people anywhere in the world. I don't know if that happened by accident. Did that happen by accident, please?
So just to finish off, so the polls. So they said best, and I will be the greatest that God ever created, believe me.
I am probably the most perfect person.
Didn't expect that reaction.
And speaking of reaction, there was no shortage of it yesterday as the morbid hashtag Trump death was trending due to his absence from the media spotlight that he very much craves. Full credit to David McAfee of Raw Story, who captured it with an article entitled, "He's Definitely Not Well. Internet pounces on new Trump pics after dead hashtag trends." Have a listen to some highlights and then I'll share his odd musings about his death to MAGA.
Donald Trump has been criticized for not being as visible lately. Some say due to the large bruising he is suffering on his hands and swelling in his ankles, leading a Trump dead hashtag to trend on the popular right-wing hotspot X. After the rumors spread online, the conservative New York Post over the weekend published a story called "President Trump is alive and well after bizarre, false online speculation suggested he died," in which the outlet published new photos of the president. But the new pictures didn't impress everyone, with critics noting his diminished appearance in the photos. Ron Filipkowski said, "He may be alive, but he's..."
Donald Trump has disappeared completely. Now, I know there were a couple of photos over the weekend snapped of Trump on the way to his golf club, but we haven't really seen him or heard from him. If he can't speak to the press, he's all but gone and disappeared. It doesn't matter if there are a couple pictures of him. And for that reason, because Donald Trump can't say anything, he has turned to Truth Social, where he just made a surprising announcement about his health that is making this scandal just even worse. And it comes as Donald Trump is trying to distract from it by attacking Democratic governors. It is all blowing up in his face. We're going to get into it, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into the announcement that Trump made about his deteriorating health, I want to start with a response from a governor showing real strength in the face of Trump's weakness. That's J.B. Pritzker.
You know, he wakes up in the morning and whatever whim strikes him is what he apparently says. And recently, I guess I've been living rent-free in his head. Chicago apparently is living rent-free in his head, even though on other days he'll talk about Baltimore or he'll talk about New York. Notice he never talks about where the most violent crime is occurring, which is in red states. Illinois is not even in the bottom half of states in terms of violent crime. But do you hear him talking about Florida, where he is now from? No, you don't hear him talking about that, or Texas. Their violent crime rates are much worse in other places, and we're very proud of the work that we've done, and we want more help. You know what kind of help we want? Civilian law enforcement help. We would like ATF agents to help us take more guns off the streets. We would like FBI, again, to coordinate with our local law enforcement to help catch perpetrators of crimes. If they would do that, we would welcome that, but that's not what they're planning to do.
This is all part of Donald Trump's plan. The lies about crime, the fear-mongering, but we also must point out the fact that even if Donald Trump is carrying out an action as part of his greater authoritarian takeover, we can still call it a stunt. There are still aspects of it that are performative, right? Donald Trump is putting on a performance when he's out with DC police. Donald Trump is putting on a performance when he's yelling and bleating about crime stats in Chicago that are hitting historic lows, by the way, and not because of Donald Trump. This is a performance because Donald Trump understands he is perceived, as he rightfully should be, as weak, especially in a time in which his health is deteriorating so badly that he can't even take a walk with one of the governors who he said was living in a crime-ridden state. And that, of course, is Wes Moore, who called out Trump's weakness right here before we get into what ultimately led to that very shocking post.
If the President of the United States were to have a serious conversation with me and say, what can we do, particularly when you look at the cost of the National Guard of well over $1 million a day, what could you add?
Kankles McTaco Tits, the convicted felon president of the United States, health is in rapid decline. There is a massive cover-up going on at the White House regarding this, but the right wing is starting to figure it out. And Alex Jones, the conspiracy theorist, absolute abject piece of shit, is starting to get to the bottom of it. Kylie, pop up this headline. We have a crisis. Alex Jones warns that Trump is headed for health collapse, a health collapse. Kylie, now play the clip.
Because you can see him declining faster and faster. It's not super bad yet. But unlike Biden, that was completely shot and had all these brain surgeries and the rest of it, Trump has got great genetics. He's tough. And if he takes care of himself, he can make it through these years and then after. But if he doesn't, he's going to have, I predict Trump is going to have some type of collapse within the next 12 months at the current trajectory. I'm not saying he's going to.
All right. Deep in the heart of MAGA, he's giving Kanks, who I'm going to refer to him as instead of Kankles McTaco Tits, for expediency and efficiency. He's giving Kanks 12 months to live. Alex Jones.
Well, here's the thing. He says a couple things that are just really odd. It's not that bad yet. Alex, it's terrible. His ankles are as big as my head. He's got bruises on his palm from what I think they're giving him IVs. And then he says he has great genes. Let's not forget his father died of dementia and Alzheimer's. This man's genes tell us exactly where he's headed, in my opinion, and I'm not a doctor.
This is just the fluffery that has to go on the right wing. He's calling out. It's clear that Trump has massive health decline, not only cognitive, but like his health. But in order to say something, he also has to throw in flattery. Oh my God, he has great genes. He's a stud. He doesn't have a teeny weeny. I don't care what South Park says. So they always have to throw in that pornographic fluffery to make sure they keep the MAGA base hard. All right. Next up, you guys, Kanks is actively hiding the Kankles. The Daily Beast is reporting Donald Trump lashed out at MSNBC after the network suggested the 79-year-old president is taking steps to hide his Kankles from public view. Let's review. You don't see him sitting at the fireplace anymore, flanked with a world leader. Now he's sitting behind the Oval. When Zelensky came, he would normally have had Zelensky in the chair like he did when they bullied him. But then they were all at a round table to where the Kankles were hidden. He is actively hiding the Kankles. Kanks is hiding his Kanks.
Here's the thing. I agree with you 100%, but the fact that I absolutely positively know it's true is because he's going bananas about it. And when something triggers him and he gets defensive, that's when he goes bananas.
Yeah. And I think, his health decline, when you combine it with, he has these moments where he's like, I'm trying to get into heaven. People say I'm not doing well. Well, who are these people? The doctors. Right. The doctors are probably saying, look, we're trying to give you blood thinners. I don't know. I'm not a physician, but we're trying to treat this. All the blood's still down in the cankles. And then he gets online. He gets online chronically. He's chronically online. So he sees all of the memes. And then there's a new one out where they show Gavin Newsom's very slim, very hot, very sculpted ankles juxtaposed to Kanks's cankles. And that stuff just sends him into orbit because he cannot be exposed. If you just scratch the slightest bit of a narcissist surface underneath, and especially with Kanks, it's just this boiling, festering, evil insecurity that just comes lashing out. So the fact that he's going after MSNBC after they did a story on him intentionally hiding the cankles, it's true. Okay. And then that's just the physical decline, you guys. Now I want to segue over to the mental decline. Here's Kanks talking to a radio show host, and this is yesterday, about his plans for yesterday evening. Play the audio.
I'm going to be going out tonight. I'm going to keep it a secret, but I'm going to go. You're the only one that knows. You and your lots of listeners. You have a great show. You have a very successful show, by the way, in case you haven't heard that. But I'm going to be going out tonight, I think, with the police, and with the military, of course. So we're going to do a job. The National Guard is great. They've done a fantastic job.
Okay. Here's the sitting convicted felon, Kankles McTaco Tits, calling into radio shows when we have all of these geopolitical issues. The markets are collapsing. And he's saying that he is going to go patrol the streets of Washington, D.C. with the police and the military and the National Guard.